Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the NaU Media Circus, where we spotlight Christian culture with commentary from the Peanut Gallery. I'm your ringmaster, Rock Blackwell. And with me as co-host, the most beautiful, pregnant woman you've ever seen in a pink shirt with a blue cross on a Saturday night, Friday night in Indiana, the Mrs. Sharon Blackwell. How you doing, Sharon?
What?
Well, I didn't want anybody to think that if I just said you're the most beautiful woman in the world, that I was being totally subjective. But, she is. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Okay, our show today focuses on the KLove Fan Awards coming up this weekend, Sunday, May 31st at the Grand Ole Opry from 6 to 9 p.m. We'll be covering each of the categories throughout the show, but we begin under the big top, which is our top story of the day. So, Sharon, what's under the big top for?
The KLove Fan Awards are upon us, and it's not too late to vote. So, what we're going to go over is the main categories, and here they are. Male Artist of the Year nominees: Chris Tomlin, Colton Dixon, David Crowder, Jeremy Camp, Matthew West, and Stephen Curtis Chapman. Female Artists of the Year nominees are Francesca Battistelli, Jamie Grace, Carrie Jobe, Mandisa, Natalie Grant, and Plum. Artists of the Year nominees: Casting Crowns, Chris Tomlin for King and Country, Mercy Me, Newsboys, and Toby Mac. Song of the Year nominees are Greater by Mercy Me, Hope in Front of Me by Danny Goki, Fix My Eyes by For King and Country, He Knows My Name by Francesca Battistelli, Do Something by Matthew West, and We Believe by Newsboys. And last, Worship Song of the Year nominees are Overwhelmed by Big Daddy Weave, Jesus Loves Me by Chris Tomlin, No Other Name by Hillsong, How Can It Be, Lauren Daigle, Come As You Are by David Crowder, and Because He Lives by Matt Mayer. Rock. What stands out to you, and whom do you think will take the categories?
Well, what stands out to me, just as you read through all of that, was how many times I heard the name Chris Tomlin. Chris Tomlin is in 3 of the main categories, and I believe Crowder is also in 2 of them, which, just coming from the Passion Movement and everything, it's pretty cool that those guys are still at it and still out there for the fans to vote on in the major categories. Also, for King and Country, were also in 3 categories and 4 overall, I believe, which we'll talk about later in the show. So that kind of stands out to me. Not only so, but in the Worship Song of the Year portion, there were 3 artists that were in nothing else that we had in as far as being in the other categories. So that's pretty interesting that the worship category would be have that much more diversity than the other categories. As far as who I think will win, for Male Artist of the Year, I'd probably go with, I'm going to say Crowder, even though Chris Tomlin is in more categories. I'm pretty sure he'll get one, but I don't think it's going to be this one. For Female Artist of the Year, I'm just going to go with Francesca Battistelli. I like the way her name sounds. We've been to the Jamie Grace concert. We like some of the other ladies. We got Plum CD and things like that, but I think Francesca will take that category. For Artist of the Year, I'll go with Chris Tomlin for that one. And Song of the Year, I'm going to go with Greater by Mercy Me, and then Worship Song of the Year, you can't go wrong with Hillsong. So I'm going to go with No Other Name by Hillsong. So, Sharon, what stands out to you overall, and who do you think will take home the victory in each category?
What stands out to me the most?
Yeah.
Probably, being a regular listener on KLove, would be that Lauren Daigle is not in the Female Artist of the Year. She's been at least played a lot. I don't know how many songs she actually has at this point, maybe only a couple, but that's probably the most that stood out to me. And like you said, with Tomlin being in a lot of those categories, though that's not surprising,
right,
but it does stand out.
Right.
As far as who will take the categories, it's really hard to say with the male artist. I want to say Colton Dixon, actually.
Really? Okay.
And I don't know why, but maybe it's because that's who I want.
Okay. Hey,
But he has a lot of really good music out right now. And he has a really good impact on a lot of people, it would seem. Female artist, that's hard to say too. Jamie Grace is so popular, but I don't know that she'll actually take it.
See, I know Mandisa won last year, so I can't imagine that she would take it this year, but I don't know.
Yeah, maybe Natalie Grant.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not sure. That's a tough one. They're all amazing artists, and I assume it's all based on our votes. So, so maybe Jamie Grace will win
that's true, man. Yeah, that's true.
She is very popular right now, especially amongst young people who are probably the ones most interested. Artist of the Year, Chris Tomlin, probably.
Yeah.
Sorry,
yeah.
It's hard just looking at him. Song of the Year, possibly "He Knows My Name" by Francesca Battistelli.
Okay.
It's pretty catchy. It's funny, as I was reading all of these categories, especially the songs, in the back of my head is singing all the songs, but I can't do that. So, and then same thing with me. Worship Song of the Year. I always think Hillsong is probably the best when it comes to worship.
Right.
That's my personal opinion, but we'll find out on Sunday. So
the next section of our show is the carousel, and this is where we spin through several topics at once and then just say what we think about it all, whether it's an up or a down. So let's take a ride. So next we're going to turn to our entertainment impact categories, and they are Best Live Show. And the nominees are For King and Country, Need to Breathe, Newsboys, 10th Avenue North, Third Day, and Toby Mac. Then there's a Sports Impact category. The nominees are Benjamin Watson of the New Orleans Saints, Darryl Strawberry of the New York Mets, Tyler Zeller of the Boston Celtics, Kevin Steelman from the PGA Tour, Brett Kern from the Tennessee Titans, and Tom Crean, the Indiana University men's basketball head coach. Then there's Artists to Appear on a Can, and the nominees are Big Daddy Weave, Dan Brimness, OBB, and Royal Taylor. Sharon, as to the nominees and everything you've heard here, do you give it an up or down, and who do you think will take it in each category?
I give it an up. There it is. Let's see here. Best Live Show. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Newsboys, although I would pick 10th Avenue North, probably because they're the ones I saw most recently. They had, not only was it a good show, they had a really good word to say along with their music, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's Newsboys. A lot of people like Newsboys, and they put on a good show.
Especially since, what was the movie that just came out? God Is Not Dead.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
right,
especially since that, yeah.
Do you know, is Newsboys the one that does the drummer upside down?
I believe so, yeah. I think so. Hey, you know what? We can't remember. If you guys know, feel free to post it in the comment section and let us know.
Sports Impact? Ask my husband. Yeah. I don't know any of those people.
Okay.
I know the teams, and I know what PGA is, and I know what the IU is because I live in Indiana, but I don't know any of those players, so I'm not sure who would have the best sports impact.
Just take a guess. I mean, somebody's got to win, and we got to pick somebody.
Benjamin Watson.
Okay, Benjamin Watson is who she thinks might win. We'll find out. I doubt it, but we don't know.
As far as nominees or artists to appear on a can, maybe OBB or Royal Taylor. I don't really know, though. I don't know what that means.
Yeah. I'm with you on the artist to appear on a can thing. I'm gonna say Royal Taylor only because I don't know. I don't know. I'm just gonna go with Royal Taylor. I don't have a reason, but they're fun. So I'm gonna go with them. Artist to appear on a can. So I should be giving this an up or a down. You know what? This is going to sound bad because it's a fan award show, and when I do this is don't think that I'm voting. Okay, obviously I'm going thumbs down. Okay, and the reason I'm going thumbs down is not because I have anything against anybody in the categories. What I have against it is that it's missing Stephen Curry in the Sports Impact of the Year. Now I know you don't know everybody there, and But if you have a basketball player, and I don't remember if he was on the docket last year for Sports Impact. If you guys remember, go ahead and comment below, let us know. But in any event, this year he's the MVP of the NBA, and Stephen Curry is a big time Christian. He literally at times wears his faith on his T-shirt, okay, or on his hat. He wears God over money hats, things like that. He wears faith-based things, and so not only is he the MVP of the NBA as an undersized player, but he just took the Golden State Warriors to the NBA Finals for the first time in like 45 years. So I don't know what KLove would need to do to put him in. I'm not even saying take somebody else out, but he needs to be there because the fans need a chance to be able to vote for something like that. Because that's a big deal, you know. Even if he wasn't a Christian, but the fact that he is a pretty big deal. So who do I think will take it? Oh, geez, I don't know. I'm probably going to go with Tyler Zeller of the Boston Celtics, only because he's getting a lot of press, and we'll talk about a little bit of that in the next section. But the Boston Celtics did play against the Cleveland Cavaliers just in the playoffs, and I'm going to go with Tyler Zeller in that one. And Best Live Show, I'm going to say probably Newsboys as well. I think Newsboys will probably take it, although I have seen 10th Avenue North, and I think Third Day also puts on a good show, and Toby Mac probably does as well. I can't speak for Need to Breathe and King and Country because I haven't seen them, but I think just with the amount of fans out there, like you said, that Newsboys is going to win. So, our last segment for the day is the Funhouse. Now, the Funhouse is where we talk about marriage and family. So, Sharon, what's going on in the Funhouse today?
In the Funhouse today, we are going to look at film, TV, and book impacts. So for film and TV impacts, the nominees are Mom's Night Out, Saving Christmas, Do You Believe, AD, The Bible Continues, and Don't Throw Them Away. Book impact nominees are Life After the Storm by Jan Harrison, Whatever the Cost by David and Jason Benham, Raising Boys the Zeller Way, and The Best Yes by Lisa Turkhurst. Rock, who do you see as having the most potential for impact on the family, and whom do you see taking the categories?
Well, film impact, look, Mom's Night Out was pretty popular this year. I'm not sure how much commercial success it had, but I remember at Family Christian, it was doing really well in terms of being advertised. I think even more than Saving Christmas was. Having said that, I don't think anything's going to have impact on the family like AD, The Bible Continues this year. That's come out. It's been said that this is like Game of Thrones meets the Bible. So I'm going to say, not only do I think that'll have the most impact, I think that that's the one that's going to win that particular category. As far as book impact, all of those books have something to offer. I think probably because of the day and age in which we live, the one that could have the most impact is Whatever the Cost by the Benham brothers, because of what they had to go through with their show and standing up for things. So I'm going to say, yeah, I think that would have the most impact on a family if a family had to sit down and be impacted by this, either just the parents or parents and kids together, talking about it, even though Raising Boys the Zeller Way could definitely speak to that. And not only do I think that would have the most impact, I think that that's going to take it home. So, Sharon, what do you think about the potential impacts, and who do you think is going to bring it home in the category?
Yeah, I would completely agree about the AD Bible Continues. That the first segment of that was really popular among not just Christians, but non-believers as well. I know me personally, I had lots of gentlemen at work who absolutely did not believe, but they watched the show.
Yeah.
And they were coming and asking us as Christians, did this really happen? Is this just a made-up story? What's going on here? Right. So I think that, again, will take the most as far as the impact and everything. As far as book impact, I honestly don't really know. Okay. I'm not familiar with the books or the stories behind them. The one thing I do know is, as an avid KLove listener, that Lisa Turkhurst pops up a lot with her Proverbs 31 ministries. So I don't know if that may have an impact on it, just because a lot of people know who she is, and maybe if they haven't read any of the books, they see her name and they vote for her. That's kind of how things go. So I'm not sure about that, but I do agree with you that this whatever the cost will probably end up taking it, just from what you've said.
Okay.
So.
Okay, guys, before we go, we're definitely about having fun here with this show and as we interact with Christian media. But before that, we are disciples of the Lord Jesus. And we have the glorious responsibility of loving those in need, especially widows and orphans. And KLove has teamed with the Hands and Feet Project to help build homes for up to 32 orphan and abandoned children in Haiti just for us voting. So whether or not you know all the songs or everyone in the categories or whatever, go ahead, and I want to encourage you to go out to KLove and vote, okay? And you can head on over to KLoveFanAwards.com, and that's where you can vote. It's not too late. So you don't know what life you can change with just one click. So please head over and do that. So for that, now, Media Circus, we're heading to the grand finale.
Woohoo! We want to thank you so much for joining us for this episode of NaU Media Circus. And we want to hear from you, because as we grow, we want to interact with your questions and insights.
So email us at naumediacircus@gmail.com. And don't forget to click like and subscribe. We'll see you next time. God bless. And remember, there's power in the name of Jesus. Take care.
See ya.